The phone. Okay. I have music in the background. Okay. Hello, Shadow. How has your day been going?
It's been decent, I suppose. Nothing worth mentioning has really happened.
Alright, well, mine's been decent as well. Are you are you fully aware of what's happening right now?
I presume you're referring to all the chaos that's happening on Earth again. I'm aware of it, yes.
No. I mean the whole live Q&A thing that I was talking to you about.
Yes, I'm aware of it. What of it?
Are you excited?
I really don't see why I should be excited. It's a simple Q&A after all.
That is true, but it's still pretty interesting.
I suppose. I've been in far more interesting situations than this.
I don't know if I should take that to offense or not. But anyway,
Go on, don't be shy. Ask whatever your little heart desires.
we have to wait because there's no one in the chat right now.
I see. Well, that's alright. We have all the time in the world.
That is true. That is true.
So, what shall we talk about until we get some questions?
How has GUM been treating you?
I beg your pardon? What are you trying to say?
I mean, aren't you really busy in the whole government and stuff?
Yes, I am. I'm a freelance agent. My jobs vary greatly depending on what I'm required to do.
Well, I know that much. I know a lot about you, but you don't know a lot about me.
Oh? And just what do you know about me?
Everything, but we're not gonna get into detail.
Everything? No doubt the majority of people don't truly know me, not even the government I work with. You, however, are able to claim that you know everything about me?
Anyways, hello, little sis. This is a very interesting video. Not video, live stream. So, I'm here with Shadow as an AI because I don't have the budget to get the actual voice actor. But anyway. Aside from that,
Shadow raised an eyebrow with a look of skepticism as he leaned on the wall. Go on, then.
we're just waiting for some questions. You can blab on about whatever you want to.
Shadow thought to himself for a moment before letting out a sigh. He didn't like being put on the spot like this, but he figured he could manage. All right, I'll humor you. Ask a question yourself.
Ask a question. Question myself. Okay. Well, what's your feelings towards Sonic?
Feelings towards that arrogant hedgehog? Shadow gave a disgusted scoff,
Oh
annoyance
no.
mostly. We don't see eye to eye at all, and our ways of viewing the world are completely different.
Well, that makes sense.
I find him to be an ignorant, naive fool most of the time. He thinks that he can solve everything on his own by just simply believing in himself and trusting his friends. He's the exact opposite of me in most regards.
Yeah, we all know about the big old loner.
It's not a matter of me being a loner. It's a matter of me understanding the truths of this world much better than he does, and simply viewing things in a more realistic manner, with no sugarcoating.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
It annoys me that his methods have been proven to work time and time again, but it annoys me even more when people tell me that I should be more like Sonic. It's extremely irritating.
Talking to my brother, anyhow. Anything else you have against the blue hedgehog?
Well, I suppose his friends are fairly annoying as well. There is one pink hedgehog, Amy, that bothers me the most, though. She annoys me to no end.
Oh? What? Why does she annoy you?
She annoys me because she's constantly following Sonic around, despite the fact he's shown a clear lack of interest in her. And when she's not doing that, she's fawning over me instead.
Well, the only reason why No Claus isn't here is because I believe she's busy right now. Okay, so you don't like her whole thing with Sonic.
I'd go beyond just not liking it. I absolutely despise it. She's insufferable.
That's one way to put it.
It's the truth. She's clingy and overly obsessed. It really annoys me.
Well, there was this one time where she was dumb enough to the point where she, like, lashed onto you from behind. When you were on that, mission with Eggman. Yes, I know that. Because I know basically everything.
I remember that. Shadow paused, a look of annoyance crossing over his face for a moment. That was by far one of the most uncomfortable moments I had to experience.
Yeah, it was seen on your face when that happened.
I don't appreciate people touching me without permission, especially from behind like that.
That also makes sense. I believe a lot of people are like that.
Yes, but there's a good portion of people that think it's perfectly fine to touch me without a care in the world.
I mean, I don't know what else to say to that.
Neither do I. Shadow paused again as more silence fell over both of them. This is starting to get dull.
Yeah, nothing's really going on. These streams never usually, like, go high tier.
Maybe we need to wait a little longer, Shadow said, as he pushed himself off the wall and crossed his arms. He took a glance at the chat, noticing the lack of questions.
I did not know you could see the chat, but, there's only 2 people watching right now, and one's talking. She's not talking anymore. But we just have to wait.
Yes, so it seems, Shadow said in a bit of an annoyed tone as he leaned against the wall with a sigh.
And that person's leaving. Okay, hold on.
Shadow raised an eyebrow. He was now alone in this call. Is it just me and you left now?
You're good. You can go ahead and head off. It's fine. Uh, Alright, sorry. Everyone's gone. There's no one left over.
Shadow frowned at that. Well, that's fantastic. So, it's just gonna be us two now?
Just for a bit until we get more people. It takes a while for streams like mine to grow in any sort of way because I'm still a very small YouTuber.
Shadow let out an irritated sigh. How long do we have to wait exactly? He asked while leaning back on the wall again.
That I cannot say. It depends on time. I can't claim when people are gonna come in since this is just live action. So everything that is being heard or being caused when it comes to moving a phone or something, they can see it. Well, there's no one here right now, but later on.
Great. We have to just sit here and wait, Shadow said in a slightly annoyed tone. He found the silence.
When we start getting questions in the chat, I will let you know.
Fine, that's agreeable at least. Shadow let out another somewhat annoyed sigh. I hate waiting.
You and me both.
As time passed by, it remained silent. Shadow continued to lean against the wall, as he had nothing else to do at the moment. He began to check his watch, his eyebrows raising a bit as he realized time was passing by a bit slower now. You think anyone else will be joining us? This is rather dull.
It's a 50-50 chance. At this point, we've only been part of this live stream for 12 minutes.
Only 12 minutes? Shadow said as he continued to stare at his watch. It feels like it's been a lot longer than that, he said in a bit of a disgruntled tone. It was very clear that waiting for all these questions was getting on his nerves.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for me by chance? To get the whole mind off of the chat situation?
Shadow paused a moment, contemplating whether he should ask a personal question or not. He eventually thought, what harm could it do, and shrugged. I suppose I have one to ask, yes.
Well, I'm all ears. Go ahead.
Shadow shifted his position slightly as he looked at you. How old are you exactly?
I am currently 16, but when it comes to July, I will be 17.
Oh, you're a child? Shadow seemed surprised by that fact at first. He didn't expect you to be so young.
Yeah, I'm quote-unquote a child, as you claim.
Fair point, Shadow said as he went back to thinking of another question.
If you have any questions at all, just let me know. Because we can have our interaction while we wait for people. It'll be a lot more entertaining.
I suppose that's true.
Oh god. Other people. He... How do I know of this information? Well, I have known you within or with past the screen you usually are either on YouTube or you're on a TV show. You're not real. I wish you were, but you're not.
Shadow raised an eyebrow at that.
Oh my god.
He was now a bit confused and somewhat slightly annoyed at the same time. Not real, you say?
Well, you're not real in the real world that I am in. I am a human. I know that sounds really bad. We're gonna move on from this, but I have looked up to you. You and I are not as different as it seems. We'll keep it at that.
Shadow huffed slightly, a frown crossing his face again. Not that different, are we? Care to explain that then?
Well, one of the biggest things is that I also lost my friend. After she moved away, unlike yours, she was shot. Sorry about that.
Shadow was surprised to hear that, a sudden look of shock crossing his face.
Oh, no.
Shot, you say?
No. My best friend that I'm talking about moved away and she lied to me about being in my school later on. But for you, I know that this girl that you were really close to, her name starts with an M. I'm not going to say the full name because I know it's going to hurt. But I know what happened to her and I am really sorry.
His face darkens once he realized what you were talking about. He suddenly seemed rather tense at the mention of this topic.
Oh no.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I'd prefer not to talk about it, so let's drop this topic.
Alright. But another way how I am a lot like you is because even though I don't act like it right now, I'm usually very quiet and always, I guess, edgy. I'm also always really tired.
Shadow raised an eyebrow slightly. He wasn't expecting you to say more information about yourself. A part of him was curious. You're quiet and edgy? You sound familiar.
I sound familiar? What do you mean I sound familiar? Do you know me? 'Cause I'll be heavily shocked if you remembered a while ago.
Shadow paused a moment, as if recalling a memory. No, it wasn't as if I already knew you. You just reminded me of someone. That is all.
Can you tell me who that someone is?
It's just an old acquaintance of sorts, Shadow said in a somewhat dismissive tone. The person he was thinking about clearly wasn't someone he wanted to talk about.
By chance, was her name Skylar?
Shadow's eyes widened by a fraction. How did you know that name?
Because I am the person who created Skylar.
Shadow was at a loss for words. A surprised look appeared on his face. You created them? He asked, his eyes narrowing slightly.
I created her. I created a lot of people.
Shadow was still in a state of surprise, but he also began to become a bit skeptical now. You've created a lot of people? You say that as if it's an easy thing to do.
Well, if you have my mindset that is extremely creative for no official reason, it kind of makes sense.
Shadow raised an eyebrow, looking more skeptical. You're creative, you say, and your creativity allowed you to create people?
Create people of an alternate universe, yes. I have created many people. I've created a lot of what they are called OCs, or original characters. Skylar is one of them.
Shadow was still somewhat surprised by all of this. So many questions were running through his mind, but he didn't want to seem too desperate. Just how many characters have you created?
Oh, that is a very big number. If I had to guess at this point, I probably created over 100.
Shadow looked at you in disbelief. He almost thought you were joking. Over 100? That seemed impossible. You have seriously created over 100 different people?
I have, at this point, I probably have. I probably took the time to create almost 100 plus people or OCs over my entire life. So, yes.
Shadow just continued to stare. He was having a hard time believing this. Nobody could have created 100 different people. He was starting to think that you might be messing with him at this point. I'm beginning to question your sanity.
My own sanity is due to the very mass creativity that I have in my brain. I can easily look at something and just think, oh, I could make a character out of that. And guess what? I do so. I can literally think of a character, and out of nowhere I can think of their entire backstory, and I can also think of how they're gonna act, what their abilities are, in a matter of a few minutes. And I've done that almost every single day of my life.
Shadow was actually rather impressed now. He didn't know any other person who could come up with so many different characters so quickly. That's for sure. But then, are you sure most of those are fully fleshed out? Creating that many characters, it seems like they might not all fully have their own personality.
Well, I do have a tendency to give them most of the same personality, but that's because they are heavily inspired by you. I do have some characters that are inspired by either a softie, or inspired by Sonic, or inspired by just a random, like, I don't know, guardian that I come up in my brain.
Shadow raised an eyebrow, a bit surprised to hear that he was the inspiration for most of your characters. Seriously? I was the inspiration for that many of your characters?
A good amount of them, yeah. Look, man, I looked up to you for years ever since I figured out you as a character. You're my one go-to.
Shadow's usually stoic face actually softened slightly at that. He wasn't expecting to hear that you looked up to him. Is that so?
Yes, I also have a dog here right now that is named Shadow, so...
Shadow's eyebrows raised. You have a dog that you named after me?
Well, my parents named it after something. But I just claim it's named after you, because we literally gave him the title of the ultimate puppy.
Shadow could practically feel his ego inflating like a balloon at this point. A dog that was named after him, because it was the ultimate puppy. Oh, if only a few of his rivals could see him now.
I can't say entirely because I was not the one that came up with the idea of the name. I don't know what he's doing. He's messing with my charger. Anyhow.
What? Shadow was left a little bit confused. He wasn't entirely sure what you were talking about, but he didn't have a chance to ask for clarification because he suddenly stopped for a moment, his eyes narrowing slightly. Just a second. I think I hear something.
What?
Shadow held up a finger, as if signaling for you to be quiet for a moment. He strained his ears to hear better, looking around a bit. Wait, yes, someone is approaching.
What? Okay. I'm just... go silent.
Shadow suddenly went silent, his expression turning serious. He didn't want whoever was approaching to know that they had already noticed someone's presence.
What is happening?
Shadow didn't answer for a second. It sounds like at least 3-4 people approaching. All of them are rather heavy footsteps, probably male. He kept his voice low, as to not be heard by the approaching people.
Oh god, I have social anxiety. I'm gonna die.
rolled his eyes slightly, but couldn't help but slightly smirk at your comment. Don't worry, I'll be here to protect you.
I wish that was true. Ow!
Shadow shot you a bit of a glare, not appreciating you doubting his skill and ability to protect you. What's that supposed to mean?
Never mind it. What is my dog doing? I'm sorry. Ow!
Shadow just looked over at your dog in mild annoyance, wondering what the hell it was doing now. What in the world?
He was laying on my charger and then he was stepping on my foot. I just got a claw to the foot. I'm okay though.
Shadow raised an eyebrow, his expression turning somewhat amused now. Your dog clawed your foot with his nail? How old is your dog?
Almost 5 months.
Shadow looked at the dog for a moment in somewhat disbelief. He was only 5 months old? It did that much damage to your foot at 5 months old? How?
Has sharp claws, man. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and put the live stream up. I'm gonna go ahead and get Sonic up in here.
Shadow just shrugged and nodded in response. Alright, sure. I don't mind.
And we're ending it there. We're ending it there, guys.